Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Soulburner 876 out here in Jamaica. Now today I'm going to go through a budget version for Endymion Pendulum deck. Now the only thing that is not in the deck is Magician Souls. If I had Magician Souls I wouldn't be here in Jamaica, I'd just be winning tournaments. That's how good the deck would be. Nah, I'm just messing with you. The deck would be very competitive, however it still is without it. There are ways to work around it if you're a budget player like myself. I'm not exactly a budget player, I just refuse to spend $80 on a piece of cardboard. That doesn't make sense to me. Alright, so let's go through the deck profile. First one up, we have Triple Big Daddy Endymion. He's really good for the format because while he has a counter, cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed by card effects, which does come up very often, and he's just a straight beatdown demon when he has the counter. Like straight beatdown. You don't even need to get rid of him. Most persons don't have a way to interact with him. Spell and trap decks gets devoured by him because they really can't do anything from once he has the counter, and he blows up field on someone if you're using the scale effect. So he's just a real good card overall. Moving on, we have Double Reflection, his wife. You should play a standard of 2 because you never know what might happen. You play Desires, you can banish them, and it's overall a good card. And the scale is 2, which is very good for the deck. Then we have the God card, Servant of Endymion, special summon itself, and a monster that can hold a counter from the deck, so it's not locking you into Endymion or anything like that. We have Magister, the combo card, if you know how to use him well. What Magister does is just that while he's in scale, he can summon himself and a monster that can hold a counter from your extra deck. So it will only be your Pendulum monsters, or in the event in the future they make a Pendulum monster that extra deck normal monster like Synchro Pendulum or something like that that can hold a counter. You can summon those if they are face up. So that hasn't occurred yet, so you can only summon your Pendulum with it. And in your opponent's turn, now this is important, it's a quick effect. You can summon a monster that can hold a counter from your deck. Now it's a once per turn effect, meaning that if you had multiple, you can use all of them. So if you use the effect, summon Reflection, bounce it back to your hand, use Selene to summon it back, you can use effect again. Now, the restriction on him is just that you can only special summon once per turn. That's a hard lock, just once for the turn you can special summon this card. And the neat part that I haven't told you yet, it doesn't matter the phase. As your opponent draws, you can summon a monster from your deck. Which is key, because a lot of cards that do that, they require for you to be in your main phase or something like that. So in your main phase, in your opponent's turn, your opponent would have player turn priority. So that's why you just use the effect as a draw, summon an extra Jackal King if you need it, or proceed. Then we have Triple Magical Abductor. Magical Abductor is a router for the deck, just searches for anything, real powerful. Moving on. For the last major Pendulum engine, we have 2 Cerberus, 2 Jackal King, and 1 Mythical Beast Garuda. Now, they're all good cards. They're actually great. The only reason why I'm not playing Triple Cerberus right now is just for the main deck space. Also, I don't want to entice my opponent to ash me at all times. Now, if your opponent ashes this, it's no big deal. You'll just play right through it. You don't actually want them to ash the other stuff. So, that's a factor. Also, you just don't want to see too many because it's a hard once per turn. And I'm not playing the scale 9 right now, so I cannot summon it. So if I'm not summoning it by Jackal King, I'm not going to summon it any at all. Unless I'm going to use Reflection or Selene, which I most likely will not do. So you minimize it by playing just 2. If you find an opening hand, that's fantastic. It's a really good going second card. Jackal King is just monster effect negates, and Garuda, on field, it pops back row. While in hand, it's a hand trap. You can actually summon this card and bounce back your opponent monster that they just summoned to hand. But it requires for you to remove 3 spell counters, which isn't hard. Once you go off, that's going to be very easy. Alright, moving on from there. For the last Pendulum cards, we play Triple Chrono Trigger and the Brick, Time Gazel. Fortunately, we play 3 Allure, so if you draw him, he'll volunteer himself as tribute. Then from there we have the only non-pendulum monster, which is Spellbook, Magician of Prophecy. This card can be either increased or decreased. depending on the spellbook engine you play. Now, I'm playing the minimum version because the draw card is a hard once per turn. So let's go right into the spells. We play 2 secrets and of course the 1 knowledge. Now, if your opponent stops you, like you normal summon and you get impermanence, because that will most likely come up, or Vela or Ash. The thing is, if you play more than 1 of the engine, like if you play 2 of this, 2 of this, that's great. But if you had, say, we play 2 of this, you can only use once for the turn. And if you normally start off with this and your opponent does something, let's just say they do anything and it just stops your play, this is a dead card. And even if you open it and you used your, oh my god, I don't even remember the Link monster's name right now. If you use your Crowley, you can draw the secondary one and you can't send it for its own effect. So you can't send the next copy of itself, which is a real drawback. I don't know why that unnecessary restriction was placed on the card. I don't see why it can't send itself, but that's just complete trash. Moving on, for the draw engine, we'll play Wonder One. It's basically a secondary knowledge. It's just not searchable. It's really good, however, because you get to control when you want to tribute the monster, as to per se when you put it on the counter. Then we have 2 desires, Pot of Greed, 1 Upstart Goblin, triple Allure of Darkness. That rounds it up for the draw ending. So you play basically 10 draw cards and you know a lot of your other cards search it, so the pace is really fast. And this is without souls. Then we have Citadel, must play. Then 3 Mastery. Mastery is just a really good card. Search it for all of your Endymion cards. Citadel is an Endymion card, so you can search for it. Then we have triple Restage, pulling back a level 3 or low spellcaster. Now, the only level 3 and low spellcaster you normally can pull back is your Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Now, on the other hand, you can instant fusion for Relinquish and you can pull that back. It's really good. But the real aim is just that you want to get rid of it and search for your right hand, which is a Spell Negate. Now, it's mandatory to negate your first opponent's spell card that would resolve. It's not a quick effect or anything. It doesn't chain to the card. If you want to know what it's more like a skill drain or Imperial Order, where it just negates it on resolution. So if your opponent tries to super polymerization you, this will negate it. It doesn't start a chain, it will just negate it. And if you don't want to negate the card that they're using, so like if you don't want to waste it on the card because you're going to try to bait it out, then Dark Ruler no more, just use your Endymion to negate the least trouble. And let them just hold on to their card and keep it as a present for themselves. Moving on. We have Reasoning and Instant Fusion. Reasoning is a beast in the deck because truthfully, I can tell you a fact, there is no right answer. If your opponent calls right, it's just luck. There is no right answer. You play several different levels. So you'll almost always get a special summon. It's just that, do you want it? The card that you see is something you're going to want. Instant Fusion Beast. Absolute monster of a card. Alright, that's it for the spells. Time to go into the extra deck. For the extra deck, for the Instant Fusion, we play just 1,000 Eyes Restrict. Hopefully, by the end of the month, I'll get a Millennium Eyes. I think that is the better card, considering you can end with it on board safely and just gobble up a card. While Restrict is a little bit better. The reason why is just that even though you can only take cards in your turn, you still can take the card without your opponent reacting. You just always will take. Then you have Vortex. Vortex is the absolute monster. You play, naturally from your plate, you play Absolute. Then we have Addy. Daddy. Now, Addy is here just because a lot of times you'll get a secondary opportunity to go into a rank 7. Now, what used to happen is just that when an opponent summons a strong monster, you have a warm time. Because even though Endymion is like 2,800, if your opponent summons a 3,000 attack monster that is unaffected or something, you find a really hard time going over it. I'm not saying this card goes around it. However, what I used to play just didn't make any difference because I didn't summon it. So this card is really filling a slot that where you can put in anything. However, this card is just a good card. I've cleared several boards several times, like entire boards, like 10 cards. It's very possible. So it's a good card. Then for your links, we don't play any synchros, obviously. We start with our link 1, Anima. Link 2, Cross Sheep and Master Ip. Link 3, My Little Pony. Link 4, Abomination. Link 5, Spalges, another link 4, Sword Art Online. Now, this is maybe cut from the deck. The reason why it's just really hard to summon, it doesn't flow naturally with the deck because you're most likely going to Celine before you do anything else because Celine's going to give you the pullback. So it may be cut in the future. It's just that it's a really good card, especially for OTKs and especially for monsters that are unaffected by Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it pumps itself first, then tries to half the opponent's monster. That's what makes World Sword so good. So if an opponent monster is unaffected, it will still go around that. And for your exclusive for the deck, we play Tim and or Ryko. And of course, Selena Gomez. We play 3 of her naturally. She's the best girl. Whatever. I don't care. Alright guys, now that you're subscribed to this channel, I hope you guys will see more of me. You'll definitely see my description down below and you'll see my channel. So if you want to see real Pendulum stuff, you can come over there. I'll have combo videos and all. If Soulburner wants me to do a combo video for him, I can also do so for you guys to watch. Alright guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace. Have a great day.